Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 194 for Tuesday, the 23rd of January, 2024. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me today is...
Oh, it's me, Nick Fights. I'm eating wine gums.
And it's G-Ham Ox 14 from the tornado-swept depths of Oxfordshire.
And Sensei Switch.
Now, we got there in the end.
Huzzah.
So
Hooray!
It's been quite a busy week, I think, for news-wise, with the Xbox Dev Direct. We've got some Sony rumours. Yep. We've got some news about Game. And some various other things going on. So we'll try and get to that as soon as we can. But first and foremost, as we do, talk about the games we have been playing. So we're going to start with Nick to tell us the first game he's played this week.
Okay, well, the first game I played this week, and pretty much this time of year, every year for the last, 24 years, Shenmue, again.
Oh, there's the first one on the Dreamcast?
Yeah, well, no, I'm still playing the Xbox version, because, I can play the Dreamcast version, but obviously the HD version I've got on the Xbox, it's just better load times, it's widescreen, they've fixed all the... I say bugs, just the limitations from the original. Yeah. So there's no slowdown and hardly any pop in and things like that. So even though I can play the original, and I have done before, because it's nice hearing, like the Dreamcast doing that grindy whirling noise and things like that.
Yeah.
Which is nice. But also with this one, you can save anywhere, whereas in the original you could only save in your bedroom, late at night type thing, or in the morning. So when I do that and I stream, if I want to end the stream, I just have to wait to get to that point. So if I want to finish after 2 hours and I'm an hour from getting back to the house, if you see what I mean?
Yes.
So it's a lot easier, and I added a few bits. Like when you come out of his house, you can choose, do you want to just go to the yard or to certain areas of the game? Like debris, there's things like that. It's like, oh, well, that's pretty good. So it just cuts out a lot of time. But yeah, I've just played this so much. And I was watching, because I wanted to play it because I was listening to a podcast, which I was supposed to write down what it was called. But I can't remember what it was called now. It's another one of these retro ones, and they talk about all the old games and stuff. And they did a Shenmue one. So I thought, I'll listen to that. And that got me in the mood to play it. And I was just saying how, this is one of probably the most important games ever made, for better or worse.
Yes.
Because I think it started and tried so many things, some good and some bad, like QTE. Some people liked them, then hated them, and also the graphics. I still think from Saturn, PS1 to Dreamcast, that jump is probably the best graphical jump we've ever had in games.
It is one of the best. It was
and you look at,
and
like they were talking on there, some people absolutely hate this game and some people love it because, but it's one you had to play back then. If you play now, you're not really forgiven of the old stuff, the old controls, they say how terrible the voice acting is, but for 99, 2000, it's probably one of the best voice acting in video games ever. Which is kind of ironic, when you compare it to a lot of the other stuff. They either didn't, like I said, Final Fantasy didn't have any voice acting at all, did it? Until
it didn't, no.
10, and that wasn't very good either.
Oh, mate, it was amazing, that laughing scene. Ha, ha,
yeah, I still got that. To be fair, though, if you watch that from start to finish, out of context, that wasn't as bad as it's. That wasn't him actually laughing. You should go. Well, I don't know if you've played, because we don't replay the newer ones and 10. We keep replaying 7, don't we? But
yeah,
that was quite good, because whereas with that, the laugh, that was basically Yuna saying, "Oh, sometimes I have to be happy and smile and laugh even when I'm miserable inside." He's like, "Well, how do you do that?" "Oh, I just practice in the mirror laughing." So he was like, "Oh, so you look in the mirror and you go ha 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 ha." So that's why that was like that, but people just give it so much shit. I don't know why I'm going off into that, but yeah, old games much better than new games. But yeah, I'm enjoying this. I'm probably halfway through in a week, because like I said, I know where everything is and where to go and stuff like that. So it's a lot, a lot easier to play a game once you know where everything is.
Yeah.
Because obviously the first time, this probably took me 20 hours to beat. Now I can go through it in maybe 7 or 8 hours, if that. Because I see someone on Twitch does like they do like speed runs
Yeah.
of it,
Yeah.
which is I think it's about 5.5 hours is the world record. But 2 hours of that is actually, or nearly 2 hours, is waiting for the time to move for the next day.
Right.
But it is more difficult than you think because you have to time everything almost perfectly. And there's some within like a minute or even less than that, then you miss your chance to get to the next day, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
So then you have to wait a whole nother day, so then the speed run is done. But yeah, I love a bit of Shenmue, and I don't know if we'll ever get 4. We keep getting rumours of that, but I can't really see that ever happening. Well, you, Webby, have you thought about going back to playing this again, or
No, I've done it. I've done it enough times now. I know the game so well.
Yeah, you've done the HD remakes as well.
Yeah. I've got me Chivos, mate. I'm all good.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I've got all the I've got them all on all 1,000 and the platinums on both games on Xbox and PlayStation. I haven't got them on Steam though, but I don't really understand Steam achievements. Do they really give you anything?
Normal. No, they don't give you anything. No.
Well, saying that, neither does the achievements on Xbox or PlayStation. They don't give you anything, do they?
No, it's just a little number that no one looks at.
No, I don't. But yeah, Shenmue, really good. Everyone should play it because it goes on sale a lot on Xbox and PlayStation for like £3. It's definitely worth. It's definitely worth. I mean, for 2 games for like £3, it's a bargain, really.
Yeah. Cool, mate.
Cool.
Graham, haven't seen you for a while.
Well, I've been playing a bit. No, sorry, it's been a bit of a crazy one. What with illness and life commitments getting in the way. But I've been playing a bit of an older game this week, maybe a bit of last week actually. I picked up a very cheap copy of Borderlands 3.
Oh wow!
And I owned this on PS4 back in the day, and I completed it, and I don't think I ever went back to it. And I found a physical copy on the shelf in CEX for like £6. It's been sitting in my cupboard for a little while, and I thought I'd fire it up. And it's not a perfect game by any means, but I think there's still a lot of fun in there if you can sort of put up with shortcomings.
Yeah, it's always one of those games that's really good in co-op as well.
Yeah. And I've been playing it mostly kind of solo, but kind of online with the odd kind of there are still people playing this, believe it or not. Quite a few people, it would appear. And I kind of picked it up and just chose a class which I never played as before. And I've just started a run through, and I'm up to about level 30, I think, now. I'm up to the fight, where is it? Is it the Penn and Teller fight? Or Pain and Terror, that they're called in the game.
Ages since I played
they're
it,
they're in the big vehicle that's going around, isn't it?
It's like a robot. It's a robot in the middle with flamethrowers, and they're on top of it, and you have to basically take it out, and it has weak points. But no, I mean, this game has all kinds of technical problems. I think the writing is all over the place, but it does what it does quite well. I think it's just guns. It just does loot. Every time you defeat an enemy, it's just like a piñata shower of icons over the screen, and it's kind of almost a bit like the Diablo sort of fix, really. Kind of checking out your stats, trying different weapons, and I think there's a lot to like here, and I think I've seen the last couple of weeks, I mean, there've been all sorts of rumours flying around as to whether there is a fourth one in the works, isn't there?
Ah, okay.
So I think there are rumours that they're switching to like Unreal Engine 5, and there could be a fourth one in development. So I don't think anybody's confirmed anything yet, but who knows? It could happen.
Nice.
But
Excellent,
no,
mate.
definitely
I'm glad
worth
you've
a
been
look.
enjoying it. Yeah. It's one of those games
Yeah,
that
it's
I
a
hadn't
good.
thought about for ages. I don't think I ever finished that one either.
Definitely worth sticking. Definitely worth sticking with. That's for sure.
Nice.
Absolutely, yeah, cool.
DLC for it as well.
Oh, loads of it, and there's lots of support for it still as well. I think, relatively speaking, you know.
Nice. Cool, mate.
And that's me.
Darren.
The main thing I've generally been playing this week on and off is Remnant 2. Which I can quite happily say it probably would have been in my top 10 of the year last year had I got to play it a bit earlier. There is quite a lot to like about it. It's amusingly challenging and has very interesting variation, we shall say. So obviously, as you know, when you start the game, you end up in one of these sort of strange worlds.
Yep.
And it's generally different for most people. Your sort of starting zone. And even if you do get the same starting zone as someone else, you might have completely different stuff in your world that someone else has in theirs. So I was running, I think it was like Narude earlier today, and I was in there with someone who had that as their starting area.
Yeah.
And we was just bumping into all new stuff that he hadn't seen before.
Fantastic.
So that's like obviously through the campaign, but then there's like an adventure mode that you can toggle on and off, can't you? You can switch between campaign and adventure. So any world you have completed in campaign, you can then re-roll and doing it in adventure mode. And when you re-roll the campaign, it randomizes it again. And the more often than not, you will come into new areas, new quests, new items, new bosses for some of those areas. It's pretty cool.
Is it procedural generation on the levels? Did I read?
No, they generally have a traditional layout for each of the zones, but the events and things in those zones could be slightly different.
Right. Because I did very briefly have a look at it, and I was not entirely. I sort of haven't really decided. Do you know what I mean? I was sort of trying to work out what the crack was, but I'm definitely going to go back to it. That's for sure.
I mean, you've got a very bizarre variety of weapons in the game. There's like bolt action guns. There's like a Tommy gun. I picked up like a grenade launcher, like that was hidden in one of the levels. There's like bows, spears, swords, all of which can be like completely upgraded. And all of the worlds are like their very own unique kind of biomes as well. So the world I started in, Lossom, has aspects of it that are almost like completely Bloodborne.
Yeah.
Like
it's got a bit of a Souls. It's got a bit of a Souls feel to it in places, hasn't it? Really.
Yes, you upgrade your weapons in a similar sort of fashion. Like you find the metals and the materials and such, and you can plus them up, etc. But even when you're in an area with something that you may have already picked up before, you will still end up getting more bonus cash and stuff if you've already got the item that existed.
Yeah.
So I know you finished it, Webby, didn't you? You sort of like went through the game.
Yeah, I finished it. Absolutely loved it, mate. I thought it was fantastic. Really good experience in co-op, I think. Even though I played it with randoms.
It definitely has issues, I will say.
Yeah.
Like massive fucking issues. Like now, I've got it on, and I'm trying to use a fucking heart, and my character just won't use it and keeps getting hit, and it is fucking irritating. Like I get that it takes a while for you to pull it out, but it's like your character's like la 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 la. While something's like trying to sit on your face. It's like, for fuck's sake, heal.
Yeah.
And the reloading as well. The kind of reloading animations in the game can be long-winded, which brings up the old traditional thing that I hate in a game, where your character takes so long to reload their weapon that you need to then dodge, duck, move, or do something else to avoid getting hit. And then when you go to pull your gun out again, it's like, oh, I'll need to reload again. I'll go through that same fucking reload animation.
Mm-hmm.
I wish, like, I'm sure certain games have it where, like, say, if you're like 80% of the way through the reload animation and you're kind of interrupted, like, you shouldn't need to reload again.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really enjoying it. Going for it in a co-op with a friend. So.
Well, at least you're playing it with someone you know, because I didn't get that. I mean, I joined Peebs once to help him out. But that was it. I wish I could have had the opportunity to go through the whole game with someone I know, but I had to just play it with randoms, because even though it hit Game Pass, just didn't really seem that many people were playing it, which was a little bit of a shame.
Yeah, there's a ton of secrets in the game as well.
I can imagine there are, and
I remember a friend of mine when we was doing one of the zones, and he sort of said, like, oh, this area's here. Like, look for a hole in the floor and sneak under it. And then we basically went down there, and then I picked up, like, a helmet, and he said, keep hold of that, we'll need that for something else. In another world, if this other thing spawns, we'll need that helmet to open a door, and that can get us a good gun. I was like, interesting. It's like the grenade launcher I picked up in the sewers. So in one of the sewers, you can open a hidden area, and you kill an enemy in the area that's plugging like a sewer hole, and water starts coming through because obviously the enemy was in the way.
Yeah.
And then a friend of mine said, right, I think enough time's gone. Like, this was like 2 days later. He said, we've played it a bit more. We'll go back to that. And I was like, what? And he said, yeah, you have to wait 90 in-game minutes, and that area should now be flooded. And there will now be a floating walkway across to get a hidden item that's on the other side. And it was the grenade launcher. So it's mad that there's all that kind of stuff in there. But, yeah.
All right. That's pretty cool. I've never heard about that, like anything like that before, innit?
Yeah, I think that's why. I think it's all of those little things are one of the reasons why a lot of like the Souls community and other people like it, because it's got all that word of mouthy stuff.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, have you tried this? Have you done that? Have you found this? Have you seen that? Because there's a suit of armor I want that's actually in Lossum, but I have never had that area spawn yet.
Right.
When I've been going through it, so I've been constantly having to re-roll it each time just until that area turned up.
Yeah.
And now I've restarted it again, and I've restarted in a completely new area with like another quest going on, with another creature that I need to kill for a trophy. So I'm going to let that play out.
Brilliant. That sounds cool, mate. See, once I finished it, I was just like, that's me done, I've had enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've done it once, I can't be asked to play it anymore.
Yeah, there's DLC for it, isn't there, as well, so...
Yeah.
It's sort of like come out.
Yeah, but I'm a tight Game Pass wanker, so I'm not going to pay for any DLC.
Just stick it on a wish list. That way, whenever it goes on sale, you get a notification.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool. Cool to the beans. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm guessing it's back to me then. Yeah. I've not played many games this week. Shock, shock, horror, horror. But I did finish Final Fantasy VII Remake this week for the second time. Absolutely loved finishing that off. It was just really good to remind myself on the story changes from the original, which I'm not going to share now because there's probably some people who live under a rock and haven't finished Remake or started Remake yet. But obviously Rebirth's out in a month, so I wanted it a little bit more fresh. Now, I loved it. I thought it was awesome. I'm still not sold on the changes that they made 100% still, because I thought it was a bit odd, but I can kind of get behind it. But what's interesting though is there is a 30-minute gameplay video of Rebirth on YouTube. So I watched that this week, and as part of Rebirth, they give you like a recap of Remake, and it's all narrated by Red 13. And that's really good actually, because obviously it shows you it shows you what's happened as well as while he's narrating it. So that's really good. So don't worry about, because it's been like 3 years now, I think, since Remake. So obviously people are going to be a bit rusty. That, yeah. But I really enjoyed going through it again anyway. So it just gave me an excuse to replay it. But just while I'm talking about it, Rebirth, obviously I'm not going to give spoilers or anything. I mean, they didn't really give any spoilers on the 30-minute gameplay video, but my jaw was on the floor through pretty much all of that video, because Rebirth is fully open world, just like in the original Final Fantasy VII. When you leave Midgar and you're in that open world, you are in that open world exploring. They showed you the open world Calm, which is the first village you go to, and the Chocobo stables where you go to in the original game, and then you have to go and hunt a Chocobo, and that's kind of a mini game as well. They showed that. They showed off Vincent, Sid as well. Look awesome. Unfortunately, they're not playable, but they still look really cool. They showed off some of the gold saucer. Amazing. Junon, which the detail in these places is insane to me. It just looks absolutely gorgeous. And they showed off the map of the world, and you can actually travel yourself, or once you've unlocked towns and cities, you can fast travel to them as well to save you that traveling. Now, I'm not sure how I feel about that at the minute because I've not played it, but in the original part of the magic was that exploration, because you had your chocobos, then you got the like the red car thing, which they showed that very briefly in the trailer, and then later on you get other vehicles. I'm not going to say anymore, but it looks amazing. It really, really does. I'm really hyped for Rebirth now, because I didn't think it was going to be to that scale, and it looks mental, absolutely mental. It really does.
I mean, it's 3 discs, isn't it?
It's on 2 Blu-ray discs.
Oh, is it on 2 discs? I knew it was on multiple discs. So.
Yeah, I think that's the first game that's going to be on multiple discs this gen. But I'll be interested to know because obviously a lot of people will buy it digital. I'll be interested to see what the file size is, because it looks like there's going to be a lot of content there. Because as I say, because it's not just story stuff. Like when they were showing, when I was watching the video, there was just loads of side stuff that you could also do as well. So this game's going to be long as, it's going to be a lot. I'll be interested to know where it finishes up in the overarching story, because obviously we know it's going to be in 3 parts, but obviously we know they get to the gold saucer. They showed a story element with Barrett and a character called Dine from the first game as well. So we know it at least gets there, which is quite good. And they show off Cosmo Canyon as well, and that whole scene. You remember, Darren, in the first game, the scene where they're in Cosmo Canyon and they're looking at the planets and stuff with the old granddad guy. So that's in there. So this, I'm just excited.
Where did you see this, Webby? I can't see it online.
I did put a link into. I think I put it in the Discord. I'll put it in the WhatsApp group for you, mate, as well. Yeah, yeah, I found it. I've just found it. I'll put it in the WhatsApp group. Yeah, 33-minute gameplay video. Yeah, it just looks great, and I know not everyone would want to watch a video, want to go in blind, and I totally get that. But I think, I was just really keen to see what it's going to be like, and it's really piqued my interest even more now. So, yeah. So it's all about Final Fantasy at the minute. Loving it. Loving life. Loving Final Fantasy. And super excited for the 29th of Feb.
Leap year.
Yeah. Back to Nick.
Does it mean we'll have to wait another 4 years for the next one?
Probably.
And it'll be on PS6 Pro. Yeah, so me continuing on playing like old games. I started playing on stream like this weekend Metal Gear Solid 2.
Nice.
But this isn't the newest one. Oh, my notes just disappeared because I do write notes because I'm that sad. They're back. Yeah.
That's all right. I always have notes, so
it's just more of a cheaty than like full on notes. But yeah, I haven't been playing. It's not the newest collection thing they've got. This is the one on 360, the HD collection. It's basically it's Metal Gear Solid 2, 3, and Peace Walker. It's like 3 games on one. And when they done a lot of these comparison videos, they were saying that these versions are actually better than the newer versions.
Yeah.
Because they go up to 1080p and have got they cleaned it up and have done better stuff. Whereas the newer one, even though they promised 1080p, they only gave 720. And they said, oh, well, we'll patch that in later. I was like, you couldn't even hit 1080p, let alone bloody... Everyone was hoping for 4K. Everyone was hoping for 4K and 60 frames per second, or at least, 1080p 60 frames. But no, the older one, the newer one is still really trash. And even on the PS1, it drops down to 18 frames per second.
Yeah.
And stuff. They're just really shoddy ports.
Well, this is the problem, right? Because the original remakes, remasters, whatever they did, they took them off the digital store.
Yeah, and forced you to buy these.
And the physical copies are fucking jacked up in price. It's gone mental.
Yeah, I mean, there's a few of them. I mean, my mate was telling me that it's better to play the PS3 version than it is the 360, because I think they actually did some. Because that was back when Xbox were charging for updates and patches, whereas PS3 weren't, and they weren't even charging to play online. Right. So that's why a lot, especially Konami, I think they did that one and a few of the other games they did, as like Silent Hill, the HD collection. They updated and patched that, but they didn't bother on 360. But I mean, so far, I've never. The only thing I've ever played of this is the demo that came with Zone of the Enders years ago on PS2. I never played it back then.
Wow.
Because basically, I suck at stealth. I'm one of these. I try to be stealthy, and then it all goes to shit. And then I bring out a rocket launcher and grenade and just blow everything up until I'm finished. Which is why, like I say, that's why I enjoyed 5 quite a lot. And a lot of the people who like Metal Gear don't like 5 because, well, there's probably a lot of reasons, but they don't they want everything to be stealth. They don't like it being action stealth. Or, I mean, even though you could still play it stealth, because I've noticed, like, even with Spider-Man, you can be stealthy, can't you? And like hide up and web zip them and go around and take them all down without getting noticed. Or you could just jump down and just get into a fight. So it's nice you can get into two. But yeah, so I've been playing this, and I think I'm about 4 or 5 hours in, and it's that old thing which I think faked a lot of people out, because obviously the demo, you play as Solid Snake on the tanker, don't you? And then you finish that bit, and then it jumps forward like 2 years later, and then you're playing as Raiden, who's like got blonde and mullet. So I remember a lot of people losing their shit back then, because they said it's just like Kojima just tucked everybody up because they wanted to play, obviously, as the character they know.
Yeah.
And I think that's a weird thing. I could spoil a really old game, can't I? Or came out again. So because even though I was like I said, I don't know all the story properly, but he's in it. But he's calling himself Pliskin from like Escape from New York in LA. Snake Plissken, which is
a little in joke.
Yeah, sort of like an in joke. So he's doing things like that, which Kojima being Kojima. And so I'm playing as him now, and a lot, like I said, one of my favourite games ever, Resident Evil, gets so much shit for the tank controls, which they're fine. Whereas this, it's probably one of the worst controlling games I've ever played. And it might piss some people off. And it's just, and I'm not knocking them. Obviously, this is before we kind of standardised what buttons do. Because we all know now, if we're doing anything shooting, the left trigger aims, the right trigger fires. Whereas this one, you have to like hold R1 or the right bumper, hold in X, and then release X to shoot. So it's just really, and it goes into like a clunky, weird first-person mode. And after about 4 hours, I found out you don't actually have to use first-person mode either. You could just press X and shoot. Because, I mean, you know what I'm like with tutorials and just ignoring shit, don't you? I can't,
Oh, yeah, we know.
Yeah, and plus I'm doing it on stream as well. So usually when they start talking story and tutorials, I'm like reading out chat, so I'm not paying attention as much. And that's kind of ruined it for me, because I was like, well, where am I supposed to go? They just, and the chat, there's a bloke in chat who like really loves Metal Gear games. He's like, they just told you to go there. I'm like, I don't know, where's that then? Open the map. What button's the map? I said, I don't know. It was just that's pretty much how my stream goes. I play games really badly, not paying attention, and chat just tells me how to do it. But, but like I said, games now are a lot more easy. And like I say, with Final Fantasy, you just went where you went, and they told you where to go. Especially when you got to the open world, you could go the wrong way, couldn't you? And you're screwed.
Yeah.
Whereas now, you just follow like waypoints or a blinking yellow light on the mini map, and you just run to that bit, don't you? Whereas back at this time, you just didn't know where to go. I mean, they tell you, but then to be fair, these games they sometimes do the cutscenes and the talking. The little codex bit where the little heads pop up and they're talking. Some of those are like 10 minutes long, and I'm like, oh god, just get on with it. But yeah, like I say, the controls, I'll get used to them eventually. So it's just weird. Like, but as I'm saying, if everyone's got a controller, like to shoot, you have to press R1, hold X. But if you want to cancel shooting, you have to then press the B button. I was like, I don't have enough fingers on that hand to do it, so I have to take my finger off like the left stick and press the B button to cancel it. It's weird, and apparently 2's the same. But I don't know. But I'm enjoying it so far. I've done a couple of bosses now. I think one of the first one, like playing as Raiden, there was a Eastern European woman. I want to say Russian maybe, but she just basically had really hairy armpits and just kept like zooming in on the camera. And I'm like,
what about Olga, the one on the starting mission?
Yeah, like right near the start. She's got really hairy armpits. I'm like, oh,
she's
lovely.
Pregnant.
Is she? Oh, thanks for the spoilers.
Yeah.
But
oh, sorry, it's a really old game. But
I know. I just said I've never played it before.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine, but I'll probably forget anyway. And the last one I've just now done. So I was basically disarming bombs, which was weird because you have to I was trying. They gave me like a little sonar thing that tells me where the bombs are. I'm like, okay, and then you bring up the mini map, and where there's a bomb, there's a B on the mini map. So fair enough. We're sort of halfway to how it would be now. And so I found the bomb, and I was like, freeze it. So I get out the gun, press the button, nothing. I'm like, why is the gun not working? And I couldn't work it out. So I looked in the instructions book. Remember those?
Oh, goodness me. Old school.
It didn't tell me in there. So I was like, great. Because there was like 4 pages for Metal Gear Solid 2, 4 for 3, and 4 for Peace Walker. So I thought, excellent. So I Googled it, and it was like, as soon as I started typing it, it just like, oh, yeah, that's the one you want. And yeah, so like all the other guns, you have to like press X to shoot. Whereas this one, you have to like hold up on the second D-pad to fire the ice. So I'm like, oh, all right. So that took me like half an hour to work out. So I did all that, and so it's just really weird. And then, like I said, just when I finished today, I basically, what was his name? The Fat Man or something? Basically, it was a big fat guy on roller skates. So he's running around on roller skates, throwing bombs everywhere. And I'm like, this is fucking weird. And then, so I beat the shit out of him, and then he set off another bomb, but I think he was sitting on the bomb. So I was like, oh, well, I knew it was there somewhere. But yeah, but it's a good game. I like it. I've been trying to play them all, and I've only played 1 about 2 years ago, and now I'm on to 2. So I may finish 3 by the time the remake comes out, because they're redoing Peace Walker, Snake Eater, aren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if that'll be out this year or next year. But yeah, there's good games. Like I said, I could see why these were such a big deal on PS2. You know, back in the early and mid 2000s, because there weren't much like them. I think you had a lot of other games sort of copying them. Like Splinter Cell and things like that. But yeah, I suppose these are pretty good though. But, you played these, Webby?
No, I haven't. No.
Never played Metal Gear Solid.
I played them originally, but not the remakes, from what I remember.
No, yeah, but no, I meant you never played them on the PS2 or nothing.
Yeah, I played them originally PS1 and PS2 days. Yeah.
Yeah, but I just meant in general. So
I love them. I love the Metal Gear games.
But...
Yeah, Metal Gear Solid is still my favourite.
Oh, the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see why that was good. Yeah, I played easier than this one so far, but
three's my favourite. But I think we spoke about it before, didn't we? Like, why 3 is the one that they're doing the remake for first, because it is technically chronologically the first game.
Yeah, it tells you on the game. It's like 2 is like 2007 or something, and this one is like back in the 70s or something, or 60. I can't remember, because my mate in chat was trying to explain to me the timeline, and this was a prequel, and this was a sequel, and this was this, and this was and this guy isn't this guy, but he's a clone of this guy, and that's his brother, but pretending to be his. I'm like, dude, I haven't got a fucking clue what's going on. I just want to run and shoot things and say, yep, I've beat it, but I think that's a Kojima thing, and no, you can't really work anything out.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, but I think if you are really, I think it's like similar to me with Resident Evil, because I've played them all so much. When I notice little details and callbacks in the newer ones, because I've played those games to death previously. Whereas I think if people have played the older Metal Gear games, and stuff like that, they will notice a lot more stuff than what I did. Because there was a guy turned up at the front, and he's like, "Oh, I'm your brother, Liquid, but I'm an arm," and I'm like, "What?" So he's got an arm on him. And I'm like, "I can't even remember who you are, mate. I'm sorry." And he's like, "My mate's like, you only just played this game 2 years ago." I was like, "I remember Solid Snake, and that's it."
Yeah, Meryl. Yeah. In Metal Gear Solid, he kills him at the end of Metal Gear Solid.
I can't remember the end, mate. I can't remember the end of the game. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It didn't, Maybe I just think I'm not paying attention to games and movies as much as I used to. I'm finding it hard to concentrate on them.
Is it because you're on your phone a lot and you're streaming?
Yeah, But when you're streaming, you're not 100% immersed on the game, are you?
No.
You're streaming it, so you're one eye on chat, so you're half paying attention to that, half pay attention to the game, so you do miss out. That's why, like this time when I get Final Fantasy Rebirth, I'm going to play that off stream rather than on stream. Because when I streamed that, like I said, I can't remember half of what happened because of that. Plus, you get people come in and spoil it and stuff like that.
Of course,
so I think I had that with The Last of Us Part 2. Someone came in and said, "Oh, he dies, this happens, that happens." I was like, "Oh, thanks, dickhead." I mean, I could have worked it out myself, but then if I'm streaming it online, you've got to expect that, ain't you?
Yeah.
Maybe I should just only stream old games that I've already played before, but
maybe.
Which I am. Shenmue. No one could spoil that for me. But yeah, that's me pretty much done this week, Webby.
Cool. Graham?
Well, I've only really played one other game this week, mainly, and that is a blast from the past, and it's very retro. Duke Nukem 3D, the 20th anniversary world tour. I picked up.
Oh, wow.
Obviously, I must have picked it up in a sale because it was in my library, and I don't know if I've ever even played it. So,
oh, wow.
So I've been going through that. So basically, it's a remaster of the game that everybody knows. It's got a slightly improved 3D engine. It's got improved lighting. It's got slightly better textures in some places, although generally they've tended to try and keep it looking as sort of original as possible. And there are a completely new chapter of created levels as well. They got the guy who created the levels for the original game, and I think there's about another 20 levels that have just been created and tacked on as a final sort of a final chapter. And it's got all the levels from all of the previous versions and from all of the DLCs. It's got online. It is what it is. It's just good fun.
Excellent, mate. Not really much else you can say, is there?
It's one of them games where I started playing it and I come up to a door and I'm like, I don't know what the combination for that door is. And apparently I could remember it. So
oh, wow.
So it must have been pretty ingrained because, I mean, I used to play this game when I had a gaming PC way back in the day. Because, I mean, this game originally is 1996, I think.
Wow. Fucking hell. That's going back some years, isn't it?
So at the risk of making everybody feel old again.
You bastard.
But no, it still holds up. The gameplay is good. I mean, obviously the graphics are a bit dated now.
Yeah.
But it has some ideas which I just don't think have ever been done. Like the sort of the way it shifts levels in the middle of a run, triggers change the layout of the level, and I don't think that's anything that's kind of done very much.
Yeah. Oh, fantastic, mate.
It's weird, Graham. We can remember like passwords and like when I was playing Shenmue, I can remember phone numbers from like 24 years ago of games I played then, but I can't remember something my boss told me last week. It's weird. So I think we were just like, imagine all the like really useful stuff we could have memorized back then instead of games.
Yeah, you kind of get to the.
I was going to say, an old friend of mine at work, he knows what the password is for the satellite in the Running Man because he memorised it when he was a kid.
That's mad, isn't it?
But you can't remember his like chip and pin for his card.
Probably.
Love it.
Nice, mate.
But no, that's about it, really.
Wow. Back to Darren then, I guess.
Not too much else, to be honest. I'll run through a couple of things quickly. I persevered and got my hardcore character to level 50 on Diablo,
Wow.
Nice.
which was not that much fun, to be perfectly honest. It was just because the new season's going to begin this week. So,
Yeah.
and I was doing it on a season which had like a few bonuses and stuff attached to it. So it just made sense to do it before the season switched out.
That's on Tuesday, right? The day the poddy comes
I
out.
believe so, yeah.
Excellent. I think I'll jump back on.
Cool.
Yeah, Season of the Construct or something, I think it's called, isn't
I
it?
hope it's decent.
It should be fairly decent. I mean, it was just the fact that I'd played quite a bit of that season anyway, and I was just literally like, right, while the XP buff's there that I've got from playing the season through with another character, I'll just try doing it with the hardcore to get it done and dusted and out of the way.
Yeah. Nice.
And the other thing was obviously Final Fantasy XIV got a big old patch this week, which is like their final patch update pretty much before the expansion comes out next year.
Yeah. Did you finish the story content on that?
I did, yes. Did you finish it?
Yeah, I did indeed. I really enjoyed it. It's really interesting. Now, because I've had quite a bit of a break of 14 until this past week where I resubscribed, mainly because I wanted to catch up on the story and stuff. And actually, I think they did quite a good job with finishing it off before the expansion explained it really well, and they showed off the new map as well in a small way at the end. So there's going to be a whole load of new areas, which looks cool. So yeah, I finished that. D-Twin, one of the guys who listens to the podcast on Discord, signed up to the game last week as well and has joined our free company. So he's ploughing away in the game and he's enjoying it.
I thought he was already in our free company, to be honest.
No, he started a new character. So yeah, so I don't know if he had one before and joined and didn't come on. I don't know, but I had to invite him in. So, but Final Fantasy 14 for me, I have a weird relationship with this game. I'm very I get really into it and then I fall off for a while and then I get really into it, and it's kind of like a vicious cycle. But however, the cycle's been quite a lot stronger than usual because this week, because obviously the game is 10 years old now. It still looks gorgeous, but because of its age, and it came out on PS3, went to PS4, PS5, PC, blah 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 blah. It runs really well on the Steam Deck. So I've been playing it a lot on the Steam Deck this week, especially over this weekend. And I mean a lot. I think I put about 12 hours in on Saturday. I think I did about 8 or 9 hours today. Yeah. And obviously, like I said, I signed up on Tuesday and I've not played this much, but I've had it on. Steam is saying that I've spent 51 hours on it this week. I know. Because I've just had it on in the background all day, every day while I've been working and stuff as well. So, I've been getting really back into it, and that's because like this, obviously the game has been out for a long time, and Darren's pumped way more time into the game than me over those years. But I've always concentrated on just one kind of character class. I'll do the story, do some dungeons, be like, oh fuck this, and I'm done. But because I've got the Steam Deck and it makes it a bit more easier to do the chill stuff, I've started doing some of the more stuff that most people would probably consider a bit boring, but I've been enjoying it. Is some of the gathering classes and stuff. So mining and blacksmithing. I've literally just been doing that on the Steam Deck while watching telly with the kids and that. And what's really cool about it, and there's something because I didn't really look into this, is like you can make weapons, sell them, make money, make weapons for your friends. Obviously, meld like the material to the weapons to make them better. When you're mining, you're gathering all those materials, and you can sell them or use them in the blacksmithing and stuff. But there's loads of different classes, obviously, and I've only really done a few of the fighting ones, but not really any of the other ones. So
Crafters or gatherers, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a lot on there. So
I mean, that's why they basically with the tribe quests you were telling me about those, the beast tribe quests.
Yeah.
You usually end up with 3 versions. You get a battle content beast tribe, then you'll get one that uses like your crafting, and then one that requires gathering.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's just something different to do, whilst you're on the handheld. I mean, I have been doing some dungeon runs and on the Steam Deck as well, and I've actually been fine with it because the game obviously was built with a controller in mind anyway. So that's not been a problem. So you can still do all the main stuff as well on the handheld, but it's just more chilled out, just doing the gathering and building shit with your blacksmith really on the handheld. So yeah, it's great. So I'm making use of my subscription this time. I'm loving it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, you did the raid as well, didn't you? The brand new raid.
Yes. Yeah, that's really good.
I ran that again on I think it was like Saturday morning.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'll see if I get anything like on this run. I think the chess piece dropped, like the for the range
nice.
DPS glasses, and that was it. But I already had that anyway, so I didn't get anything that I actually needed.
Yeah, because I've only run it once, and that was with you this past week. So I do need to go and do it again because I didn't pick up anything. I didn't pick up any drops on that one, so I need to do it again anyway. For the reset Tuesday, I think it resets on it. It's on a Tuesday. I can't quite remember now.
Yeah, Tuesday, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's probably enough Final Fantasy 14 talk. As I say, the new expansion's out in the summer. So this year, unfortunately for our listeners, is going to be quite a big year of talking about Final Fantasy. Because we've got 7 Rebirth, the 16 DLC, and obviously the expansion for 14. So yeah, look forward to that.
Fun times.
Yes.
And obviously it comes out for Xbox in February in beta.
Yes.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah.
Finally?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might start playing it.
It's going to be free to play as well, as far as I'm aware, like the beta.
What, the usual 80 levels first bits, or?
Yeah.
I think you get it all the way up to the end of Stormblood now.
That's a lot of content. But I think the only problem with
the first 6 years of the game.
Yeah, I think the problem with the free-to-play version, though, is that it does restrict you in some elements. You can't join a free company, which is a guild, and you can't. And it does. I don't think you can add friends either.
I think you don't have retainers. I think that's something else, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so, and that's quite needed, in my opinion. But I don't think for an MMO, because you think how much some MMOs are, like it's only £7.60 something a month. It's not breaking the bank, you know what I mean? So I think it's quite fair.
And you pay for that those servers, which are silky smooth.
Yes,
pretty much. You get the odd bit of lag here and there, like in battle content maybe, where you sort of like weren't in an AOE, but the games usually were. But apart from that, I've never played an online game with such a stable connection.
Yeah, I've done a really good job on this. I love it. It's the only MMO that I've stuck with for this amount of times. I've played them all pretty much. Like World of Warcraft, New World, fucking Lost Ark. What are some of the older ones? Final Fantasy 11. Guild Wars. I've played loads, and and it's not just because I'm a Final Fantasy fan I've stuck with this. I think it's just because it's well done, So, yeah.
Oh, that's it. You can stick a label on whatever you want, but if the game itself is not something you're going to enjoy, then
yeah, that's right.
You are going to poo-poo it. We've all played games from franchises that we really liked back in the day, and then a new one comes out, and it's like, ew.
I still hold the opinion that Final Fantasy 12 is a load of shit. Just putting it out there.
That was the one that re-released recently, wasn't it? Oh, a couple of years back, didn't they? They did a redo
the
of it.
Zodiac Age or something.
Yeah.
That's since, apart from like the newer ones, like 6 all the way up to now, that's the only one I couldn't finish. Didn't want to.
All right. All right, that's enough Final Fantasy 14 anyway. Oh, it's me. I know I hijacked Darren there, didn't I?
That's fine. I just basically I merged 2 games into one anyway, like into one slot.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
All right. So, apart from those Final Fantasy games, not played much at all. Just going to quickly run through a couple of games because I think a couple of you said that you were done already. So,
pretty much.
And these are going to be blasts through, apart from one of them. So, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, played some with D-Twin and Gav last night. I had fun. However, we were all having a little discussion last night about the difference between Modern Warfare 3 and Modern Warfare 2 for the normal multiplayer, and how I think, well, me and D-Twin definitely preferred the Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer over the Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer. Just because of the guns, and it just seems to be like a lot more sniping, and it just gets frustrating in this one. But obviously the zombies is good and stuff, so there's that. Big shout out to Clarkin. What's my tag this week? We jumped onto Battlefield 2042. Had a blast on that. As I say, just love doing the old maps, etc., etc. So that was a lot of fun. So hopefully do that again this upcoming week. So that's cool. And the only other multiplayer game that I played with people was last night after we got annoyed with COD. Myself, D-Twin, and Gav jumped on to Golf with Friends. And if you've not played it, it's the perfect game to play with your friends. Just a good laugh. So I think it would be one of those games that would be really good for a gamer night. Just because it is so much fun. So just putting it out there. It's awesome. So I played one more game, but I'm going to save that unless everyone else has got games to talk about or not.
Pretty much run through everything I've sort of mainly played.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll just talk about it now quickly. A new game came out this week onto Game Pass and onto Steam. And that little game is called Power World. You heard of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't played it though.
Right.
Is it still early access preview thing though? Yeah,
it's early access. Now, I checked it out for about, I'd say just under an hour. And it's basically like, so what I was reading was there's a little bit like Pokemon, because you've got all these Pokemon type things around the world, and there's a thing that's exactly like a Pokeball, which you have to make, but it's not a Pokeball, but it is a Pokeball. You capture these minion things and you get them to have guns and shit like that, and you got to collect them all. But it's kind of a mishmash between a Pokemon game and a survival game, because it's another one of those survival games where you start off naked while you're in your pants, and then it's basically gather some wood, create a workbench, make a fire, use the workbench to make some tools, and then you get the picture, right? So it's one of them. Not my cup of tea. but those type of games are very popular. Now, there is a difference between the Game Pass version for Game Pass PC and Xbox compared to the Steam version. Apparently, the Steam version is about 6 months ahead in patches to the Game Pass version. So the Game Pass people are missing out on a lot of features. So, as an example, currently on Xbox and PC for Game Pass, you can only go in a server with up to 4 people, right? And it's not dedicated. Whereas on Steam, you can create a dedicated server and play with up to 32 players. So that's a massive difference.
Wow.
Yeah. So that is kind of the big one. That's the difference, and that's why it's sold so well on Steam. Apparently, so it only came out the other day, and bearing in mind this is on Game Pass. However, it is sold. This is sold copies. It is sold over 3 million copies in 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah. With 855,000 concurrent users on Steam, which is kind of the, was the highest played game at one time when it launched, on that day, because usually it's Counter-Strike. So it's sold awfully well, which boggles my mind because I was just like, oh, shite. But obviously, lots of people like those type of games, right? So
there's a lot of people who obviously play Pokemon and stuff back in the day, and
yes,
is what they're kind of after.
Yeah.
It's Pokemon with guns, isn't it, basically, from what I've seen?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't be asked to even get to a point where I could catch them. I was just like, oh, this is just fucking me. You know what I mean? It's just like me. So, but that's just me. So I'm not going to detract from people that like it. But it's not my bag. But I thought I'd give it a shout out because it sold really well. So got to give it its dues in that regard.
Yes, is it another Korean game or something?
I'm not sure who's made it, to be honest. I need to have a quick look. Just give me a second. So it's not a full price game either. It's £22, which ain't bad.
It's in game preview, isn't it, or whatever?
The developer and publisher is someone called Pocket Pair. Never heard of them before. They made that Craftopia game. If you ever played that on Game Pass.
No.
Yeah, that was on Game Pass. A bit of like a Zelda clone. In a weird way.
Yeah, because obviously this game's been out, or I've heard of it for literally ages.
Oh, right.
And then I think it was like about a month or so back, maybe, slightly less. Like it was like, oh, Microsoft gave loads of money and we're now putting it on Game Pass.
Oh, right. Interesting. Yeah. So there we go. That is all I've played, guys. So should we get to the news? There's been a little bit of news this week. Why don't we start off with the news that you were going to mention, Graham?
Yeah, I was. It's been on, I think, most of the main websites. It's been on the BBC and it's been on Eurogamer. That game stores are basically going to stop selling, trading in and selling pre-owned games. They're going to completely phase it out, it says. I think that what they're saying is this is it's because I think a lot of game stores are now located in Sports Direct sort of outlets.
Yeah,
and I think it's I think it's a stock and storage issue, and they'd rather make bang for their buck on pre-owned games than sell second-hand Xbox One games for sort of £10 or something, mind you. Not that Game ever do that, do they?
No,
Some of their pre-owned prices are quite shocking.
they are
When they
ridiculous.
do the 3 for 2, don't they? Like offer and such. But also, like CEX is now like huge, like all over the place. And I think they probably offer better deals in CEX. And
Yeah,
I think they do.
I think less people go into game now to trade stuff in. So they thought, well, we can't really compete. And you know what? We don't want like 500 copies of the new FIFA game secondhand, like skanking up our back room or whatever it is. Because they never used to turn stuff down, did they? You'd go into some of the shops and you'd see like about 30 copies of, I don't know, something on the shelf, and then like they'd still be taking them in, and you're like, you're not even going to sell them. What are you doing?
Plus, because so much is going digital as well, there's less physical games to trade in as well.
I just don't think there's any money in it.
I think they're just interested in the mums and the dads buying for their kids, aren't they, really? Birthdays, Christmas, that sort of thing.
I suppose all of us are the same. If we don't buy a game like brand new, we'd rather just either buy it cheaper later, either digital, or when we see it on hot UK deals online when they sell it for like 20 quid or 25 quid and things like that in the supermarket. We'd rather do that. We'd never think, oh, I'll wait until it's cheap second-hand in-game and go buy that copy, because, like I said, I mean, I bought the last game I bought sort of new, it was Bayonetta 3, and that was like 18 quid on Amazon, like new. And then you look in game, and that's still 50 quid. And then second-hand, that's 45. So, what's the point? Who's going to pay for that?
I mean, I remember going into game, and I can't remember what it was I was looking for, and I could get a brand new copy for 35 quid, or I could have a pre-owned copy for 35 quid, and I'm like, who is working out how your pricing works here? Because
I've known them to have the newer one cheaper than the second-hand one, because when they were on offer. Like remember when they used to do good deals between them and Game Station, and they'd have like half price where you could buy it second hand for like a £5 less than new, or brand new half price, and they'd still try and push it to buy the second hand one.
Oh, that's mad.
I mean, that's only what they're told, isn't it? But obviously, it's not nice to say, because that's just the end of sort of physical media happening. And years ago, especially when it was EB before it was Game. We all used to love going into the shops, didn't we, and seeing what was out, because other than talking to people in there and magazines, that's how we got our news, didn't we? We didn't know stuff. I mean, like I said, I remember going in there and I was like, Nick, you really need to get this game, Grand Theft Auto 3. That's brilliant. I was like, never heard of it. I played that top-down demo of that one. Oh, it's 3D now. Oh, I'll give it a go. And that's how I found out about a game like, GTA 3. Whereas you think, imagine, is there anyone that finds out that GTA 6 is out just by walking into a game shop?
No.
It's never happening again, is it? So it's just...
No.
Sad times, we're all getting old.
Well, I saw this news, and I wasn't that surprised, to be honest. I mean, you go back in the day, and I would buy all my games physical, go back to the 360 era of this, and then obviously once I was done with it, I'd trade it in just to get the next game cheaper. But as things have gone on, more, as Nick rightfully said, more people are buying digital.
Yep.
And if you want to buy a brand new game, you can always get it for about 10 or 20 quid cheaper online than you'd get it in game anyway if you wanted the physical.
And we had the supermarkets like outpricing them for years as well. Like remember the midnight try to get the new COD for like 25 quid at like Tesco's or Sainsbury's and stuff like that.
Yeah. But even the supermarkets aren't selling games now, I
think Asda's the only one left now that sells them.
Yeah, and then when you go in there to buy something, you buy it off the take off the shelf and get told it's out of stock.
Yeah, they've only got
Bastards.
like 2 copies.
So, but yeah, gaming's in a weird place at the minute, and we'll get into the other bit of news after this. That's kind of related, but obviously, a lot of people do only buy digital now. You look at the comparison in sales of physical and digital, and the majority are buying digital. And I know a lot of people have an aversion to that, and I can see the reasoning why. I really, really can. But at the end of the day, you know, we kind of knew it was going to happen because it's happened to film and music already, hasn't it? It happened to them.
Yeah, and they've both gone to shit as well. So fantastic. I look forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, so
well, they have. Like, music is the fucking shadow of its former self, and films these past decade. Fuck's sake, mate.
Yeah, maybe the last 5 years films are just shit, aren't they? Like,
I mean, we've had like good ones here and there, but it's like trying to fucking pick out your favourite Skittle or something out of a packet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, as I say, I can see, you know, I'm not surprised because I could, like, as I go from my personal experience, I can't remember the last time I even went into game, you know, and when I did ages ago, it was, you know, just full of toys and shit. I was just like, and all the games were
statues that hold your controllers up.
That doesn't sort of help when you sort of think, oh, I ain't been in here for a while, and you kind of look in there and, like, within a couple of minutes you think,
yeah, that's right.
Where's the games? Oh, they're over here in this little corner. It's like, all right, what the fuck is this? I thought you was a game shop.
That's the problem, isn't it?
You get people nowadays that, you know, you get all the people that would be like, you got Switch and PlayStation and Xbox and all the rest of it. But when you think of like EB when it first started, you had like all the different computing home systems. It wasn't like all combined PC, like Works and everything. You had like Amiga, ST, Amstrad, all of that kind of stuff. Then you had multiple games consoles, multiple handheld systems.
Yeah.
Tons of it, and now it's like we're now almost consolidated down to sort of like having 3 games consoles and like 1 computing system, which did away with physical pretty much around the time I was thinking of maybe getting one. And you end up with like a game now that's like almost virtually empty. And as we know, there aren't as many new releases coming out either.
No,
like you go back, we spoke about it. You go back to the 360 era. There was like times when I'd be like, "Fucking hell, there's 3 games out I want on Friday," and then the next week there's 2 games out that I'm picking up, and then another couple of weeks later there's another 3 games out I want.
Oh, it's mad, yeah.
And now, if there's 3 games in a single month, it's like, oh, it's crazy in January. Like,
oh, mate, I know, it's mad. Yeah, so I mean, it just the thing is like, since you know we're all a bit older, so you know I reminisce on the days, you know, like I'd go into my local town, and this is going back even you know before the 360, and there'd be like a game, an electronics boutique. And maybe an independent game shop as well, and it was a great time.
We had like 3 or 4 independents in my local town, and most couple of them actually sold import games as well.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I went for a walk the other week. We were walking around, and I remember there's a shop there one step beyond where I used to spend like hours, you know, after school and things like that with my mates, like looking at all the games we wanted. From all, you know, we had retro and new stuff. And I always had like I said, imports showing you the new games that are coming out. Because I was like, oh, I really want that. I was coming out over here in like 4 months. Did you want a pre-order? Yeah, how much is it? 30 quid. Brilliant. Whereas now they want you to pre-order something that's like, I think Game is still, you can pre-order Final Fantasy GTA 6 in there. They're pushing you to pre-order that. I was like, I don't even know if your shop's still going to be around in 18 months' time.
I know. It is it is sad.
Isn't it?
Yeah, 2025. So normally it was September, wasn't it? A lot of in September. I think that was the same with Red Dead 6. So, and it wouldn't surprise me if that get knocked back another 6 months anyway.
It just makes me sad because it's just the demise of the high street as well, isn't it? Like obviously we talked about it already. I want to get Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and obviously because it's a Final Fantasy game, I want to get it physical. Now I'm in a bit of a conundrum because the Royal Mail fucking sucks ass now, so you don't even know if you're going to get, if you order a game online, if you're even going to get it on the day. So I was looking at where I could buy it physical, and it was literally, I could order it online for 55 quid, get it delivered, or go to Game and get it for 70, or Argos and pay 70. So that's kind of my options, and that's it, It sucks.
I don't know about Game probably will, but I bet you if you go into Argos on the day and you're like, the game's coming in today, it's Friday, and you'll get there and it'll open it, because a lot of the Argoses are in Sainsbury's now, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right.
But I bet you get in there and you're like, oh, can I have this game I pre-ordered? Oh, we haven't had the delivery yet.
Yeah.
It comes in at 3, 4 o'clock tonight. You're like, great, I booked a day off for this shit. So I either come in, and you never get it. I mean, I haven't done that for a long time, like booked a day off for a game.
Yeah.
But I could do that for Final Fantasy. I mean, it's leap year, so technically we shouldn't have to work. Is that how it works?
That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
I think leap year should be a free day off, like a bank holiday. What do you reckon?
Wouldn't they supposedly give in an extra bank holiday or something on leap years? Well, that was one of the suggestions back in the day.
Could do, but I doubt they will. I heard they're going to make an extra day up in this week so we can work 6 days a week.
Yeah.
Probably.
But,
I'll tell you what, I can remember, I think I've probably told this. I remember the one time where I thought, do you know what, I'm done with this shop. And that was when, Game sort of got a thing where I bought a game off them, I pre-ordered it. I can't remember, I think it was a PS2 game. And he's like, oh, we're going to have to open it. Why? Oh, we're going to check the discs because we've had a lot of loose discs and scratching. So I was like, okay, fair enough. And he
PlayStation game, by any chance?
I think it was a PS2 game. And so I thought, okay, so to take the plastic off the game, he got a biro pen and just slashed it, right down the front cover to open it. I was like, whoa, hang on. And he went straight through, the plastic bit and cut into the artwork.
I would have actually done a literal loud outburst at him.
I just said, what the fuck are you doing? Just ruined. Oh, that doesn't matter. That doesn't affect. The game will still work. I'll say, well, I don't even want the fucking thing now. You'll give me another one. Oh, I can't do that. I was like, well, I'm having my money. And I think he wouldn't give me another copy. So I just didn't buy it and went to another shop and bought it. So I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah,
I'm not having that. Yeah,
if you don't understand why people are paying to buy, people collect them and we want it nice, stuff like that.
Well, don't complain that I've just soaked your box in urine. The game will still work.
Yeah. But yeah, I was like, no, I'm done. And that's when I was like, and I think that was around about the time they started selling them at the supermarkets as well. Because that was PS2, PS3 era. They started that, didn't they?
Yeah. Sounds about right.
So I was like, yep, that's what I'm going to do instead.
The
supermarkets were great as well. The problem that obviously a lot of these companies have is they don't have sensible people ordering in their stock.
No.
They're not going to have Doris up in the tea room or something going, Doris, did you order those 100 copies of David's Flatulence 9 for the such and such console? Oh yeah. Do you reckon that's going to sell well to get that? Oh yeah, definitely. They're not going to be rotting in our storeroom for years to come. See, like generally, people that work in the independent shops would know how popular a certain game was going to be, and they'd order like a select amount of copies of those games for those customers because they knew that they'd actually sell well. Like you're not like say a JRPG, you're going to order less copies of that than you are of like say a FIFA or something else like a GTA. Like you know you're going to sell shitloads of them because there's a broader appeal. But I think, certain supermarkets didn't get that. Because you'd always see the same games in the sales when they did the clearance stuff on it.
Yeah, because like I said, they got into it because they thought it was easy money, and they thought, oh, we sold all those copies of San Andreas, let's buy the same amount of Barbie's Horse Adventure. You know, things like that. But I suppose the indie shop, especially back then, 90% of the stock that they ordered in is probably pre-orders from their regulars that go in there, not just for the actual game, but for like the atmosphere and the conversations and.
Oh, there was always regulars,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was the same people. That's like I used to speak to people who I met from the shop and like be friendly with them, and friends are like, "Oh yeah, I'm coming in after school. Oh yeah, well I'll see you. They'll be there." And you'd get in there, and like I said, every time you'd go in, there'd at least be someone like customers and the people behind the tills, obviously,
where
and stuff like
knows
that.
your name.
Yeah, I was just thinking cheers, to be honest. I was thinking that, but because, like I said, we are getting very old. But we'd pay more we'd pay more. I mean, we say this, we talk about how we pissed off that digital is more than. I think all of us, if the game shops were like that, we'd pay more for that experience and to buy it like that and to pick it up on the day and midnight pre-orders and stuff like that. We would pay more if you got more, but they want us to pay more and you get less.
Yeah. That's nuts, isn't it?
Especially if you've got to crawl through Sports Direct and all their fucking Slazenger polo shirts and teenagers with fucking tracksuit bottoms and fucking hoodies that are probably going to shank you.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing as well is that's actually kind of a barrier. It's not literally there for everyone, but I've been in game shops before where I've been looking along the thing, and then some blokes come up to me with like 6 games, and he's like, "Which of these games work offline?" I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "I haven't got internet at the moment, so I need to know which of these games I can play without having online." And it's like, "Oh, yeah." And it's like, right, that one's okay, that's cool. That one's going to have DLC and updates that you obviously won't be able to access. And that's going to have a multiplayer portion, which you won't be able to do. And it's obviously confusing and it throws a lot of people out. And then nowadays, if you buy a game day one, you're not getting the full game.
Yeah, that one's
because
got
most games just get the drip feed nonsense over the next 6 to 8 months.
Yeah, and that game's got like a 20 megabyte patch on it, and that's all it is.
Yeah, it's got a day one patch on it because I didn't play test it properly.
Yeah, or it's only got a 20 megabyte download.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that one was rushed out for the shareholders, so you're basically going to have to re-download the whole game again because it doesn't work properly. It's going to happen
more and more, mate, since Cyberpunk. It's going to happen more and more. That's becoming the norm. I mean, all this game preview stuff that's been on Game Pass and Steam Early Access, that's going to be the norm. But the only difference is they'll want the 70 quid up front.
Yeah, the game preview is just a way of sidestepping any legalities for basically it not living up to expectations, because they can just say, oh, it's in preview, it's not finished yet. I mean, Fortnite, the version of Fortnite I play, which was Fortnite before Fortnite became like a Battle Royale thing, that was in like game preview or beta for about 3 years, 2 or 3 years. It's like, what? Right, and I don't think it's ever really been finalised because it's still having things twisted and changed to it. every now and again.
Mental.
So yeah, you can obviously go on to the other news story about things and legalities of people not being able to sue if you can't access your content, etc.
What was that then? Because I was thinking of the Ubisoft stuff, but was there something else?
Exactly that. Yeah, the Ubisoft stuff.
Who had that? Was it Nick?
Yeah, I've got some stuff. I don't know about, because obviously they've been talking about this all week, so I think a lot more has happened because it has pissed people off. Basically, this guy's name's Philip Tremblay, so I assume he's French, and I probably, butchered his name. But you got to think this guy is like head of Ubisoft Game Pass thing. What's that called? Maybe Ubisoft Play?
Uplay Plus, yeah.
Yeah, so he's basically the head of that. So obviously he wants everything digital and doesn't want it physical. Basically, he just did an interview with someone today, and he said that people should get comfortable with not owning people already got comfortable with not owning CDs or DVD collections, and that a similar shift in attitude needs to happen in games. He goes on to explain that not owning a game doesn't mean you lose your progress, and that you still keep your time you invest and what you've built, even though you don't have a physical copy to stick on your shelf. He also says that he understands the gamer's perspective when it comes to owning games, but claims like services like Ubisoft Plus will allow them to access their games whenever you feel like it. I was like, yeah, when it's on myself.
Yeah, here's the thing, yeah. You go into a Ubisoft game with your Ubisoft account and your games are tied to your Ubisoft account. You accidentally say the wrong thing to someone online who reports you and you get banned from your Ubisoft account. Do you still own your game that you've paid money for? Or is it gone? Is it just thin air?
Yeah. But it's also, Darren, you've got to think, what we had with PlayStation just before last year, where they took a load of movies and TV shows because they lost their licensing agreement with Paramount. And like I said, aren't they taking all the FIFA games off as well?
I did hear that, but I haven't heard anything more.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anything from the newest one, the online functionality get ripped apart after a year anyway. And obviously there's no more updates and stuff like that. But it's not what they say what they want, not what is best for us, don't they? That's the problem.
Well, it's business speak, yeah.
Yeah, it's business speak. They would love to cut out the middleman. And yeah, there's a lot. I mean, let's be honest about it. Half of our online library, I don't think we'd give a shit if that got deleted overnight to a certain point. But
well, I would, because it doesn't matter. I don't really own anything
that's what I'm saying.
digitally anyway. So
I've got maybe 300 digital games, and a lot of those, but then I've got like 800 something physical. But they can't. Yeah. Well, I say they can't take them away. It's just I don't like the fact that they just assume this is going to be great and everything will be digital and we can charge 100, 120, 150 pound for a game and all you fuckers will just pay it because we say. And it just annoys me. They really think that's the case and that's just what will happen. But no, people just won't bother with games. It'll be like the game crash of the 80s where people just didn't bother. And they just didn't, and loads of companies went bust. And like I said, we'll just buy less games. Like I said, I think we're already buying less games than we used to, not just because of, we're older and we have other responsibilities and other stuff to pay, like mortgage and kids and stuff like that. I just think we're being a lot more selective about what games we buy. I mean, like I said to you, like back then I'd like, it's 30 quid for a game. Yeah, I'll give it a go. The box looks good. Whereas now, if I buy a game, I know if I'm buying it, a couple of months in advance. And even then, I haven't pre-ordered it until the last minute, and I'll be checking out trailers and, video reviews and seeing what other people say. Because you don't know if, one, the game's going to be broken at launch.
Yeah.
Two, they've completely fucked you over and it's not the game what they told you it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, if I'd have paid for Starfield, I'd have been absolutely fucking pissed off because it's not the game just not picking on Starfield, it's like one of the most recent ones. It's not the type of game we thought it was. If you see what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, this game looks great. Oh, fuck, they missold it. It's actually a Dark Souls game. Great. It's just, I don't know. Eventually it's going to happen. And I just think someone else will come along and make something new and will be physical, and everyone will just shift over to that. And a lot of these companies will either backtrack as quickly as possible or they'll go bust.
Well, the other thing as well is you'll either see a slight shift back when things start happening, like people do lose access to stuff they've paid for, or they start retroactively changing stuff because it's only available online.
Yeah.
And you'll have a bit of a pushback. I mean, that's already happened with certain films. I mean, you stick certain films on now on certain streaming services, and it has like that thing in the front. Sorry, everyone now's a bit of a pussy, so you might find some of this content a bit upsetting.
Yeah.
Even though there's absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
Yeah, me and the kids watched Dumbo the other day, and they had one in front of that. And I was like,
why? Oh, yeah, it's racist, isn't it? It's racist.
Yeah, it's racist because of the blackbirds.
The blackbirds are racist.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, that they are racist, or they're saying they are.
They're saying they're racist.
But were they racist back then? That's the difference. I never thought a Disney cartoon would be racist. I don't know. A lot of them are shit.
Song of the South apparently was.
Yeah, but just a quick question for all of us, like whether we got it. Who of us four who of us have actually had our accounts either locked or suspended? Whether we got them back or not? Has anyone ever? Because I've had that.
I think Xbox. I've been banned for a day or two from something.
Yeah,
I can't remember why, but it was years ago.
Yeah, I don't know if that was Xbox's fault, but basically, an email account I used to make my account got hacked, and I thought, oh well, I don't use that one anymore. It's fine. And then when I moved like Xbox 360 to the the newer one with the bigger hard drive, I couldn't transfer because I couldn't get into the email that was associated with that Xbox account.
Right.
So basically I'd lost everything, like all my saves, all the games, all my thing. And I was like, oh well, we can't do nothing until you get we can send you a recovery to this email. And I'm like, well, I can't get into the email, and there's no one you can phone. You can't phone Google and things like that, or back in the Hotmail. You couldn't. There's no one who will speak to you unless you're really famous or well off and connected. There's no phone number, to phone these tech companies and things like that. And even if you did, they won't give a shit about you, will they? And eventually I got my account back after a week. I think I filled out the online form, and I didn't actually answer what they answered. I just told them, please help me, my Xbox is broken. And on the next one, the last thing I bought was Xbox Live on this date. I can't use this email account. Please, can you help me? And they restored it. So I'm like, oh great. So I'm like, whew. But if I couldn't have got that email back, I'm basically screwed.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like my mate last year at work, his boy's PS4 got hacked, and they done about $5,000 out of his dad's account.
Wow.
And he got it back after 5-6 weeks.
Bloody
because
hell.
that was a debit card, not the credit card. So he had to go through all the banks and stuff like that. And obviously all his payments that were supposed to come out didn't come out because he went past his overdraft and all stuff like that. And he had to go through all this grief. They admitted it straight away, like on the first phone call, that the account's obviously been hacked, and they've had a lot of that. But that still took them like 5-6 weeks. And once they restored everything, they sent him all his money back, but they deleted his boy's account, everything that was on it. So he didn't have an account at all.
So he lost all the stuff that he'd previously paid for then?
Yeah, he got all the money back that was hacked, but they shut his account down.
That's ridiculous.
So, I mean, there weren't much on it, to be fair. He said he only had a few games and save, and he didn't play. He'd only had a few years And
yeah, but still,
wasn't
like
that
if you
fussed. Yeah.
hadn't, like if it was like say mine or Darren's or something, and we'd spent, and you know, I'd probably spent thousands on digital games. Losing that, I'd be like, what the fuck you doing?
Yeah. I mean, here's a weird because I know someone. You've seen him, Webby. Like online, that Adam Corlick that does a lot of YouTube videos, like the Shenmue guy and the Sega guy.
Right,
Basically,
yeah.
his YouTube got hacked, and I'm going to have to find up on this, which I didn't think. I can't believe we've gone back to this. I don't know if you guys know that you can actually get a USB key that you plug into like your laptop or phone, which is another level of two-factor authentication.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's a physical little metal dongle key that you plug into your phone or laptop. So if you want to log in, you have to plug that in. So we've gone back to writing down our passwords on a book somewhere now, but pretty much, haven't we?
You know the best way around this, don't you? You just buy a games machine, you put the game in, and you fucking play it like we used to. Because obviously you've got all of this bullshit now with the passcodes for your different online accounts, etc., for PlayStation, etc. And then you get all these fucking games companies that are like, oh, you need a Capcom ID, log in, tie your ID, get your email, stick it up your ass, scan the fucking quick scan code. It's just like, fuck off. And it's like, oh, if you don't do that, you can't access the online. I'm like, just fuck off.
I had
like,
that setting up a Samsung TV.
So complicated.
They want me scan a code, like a QR code, and link it up to like some sort of account before the TV would even turn on. Before I could watch anything.
Think, like, no, enough. I've had enough. I've literally had enough. None of this makes things easier. None of this makes things better. Like, it's a fucking joke.
I just use two-factor for everything, so I obviously have to use my phone, but
still, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Because like, with my phone, like, it's got like a fingerprint scanner, which is nice. So a lot of the passwords, it goes off that, so I don't have to remember them and put them all in.
Yeah.
But I think, like, of the consoles, I think the PlayStation app is the worst. Because it always wants me to log in, then it wants two-step, and then it wants me to like rotate these fucking pictures to it look like the other picture, and I'm like,
make all the screens with the traffic lights in.
Yeah.
Oh, so
all that shit. You know what? Tick all the boxes with fucking people on bikes. I'm like, fuck! If someone hacked my account, they're welcome to it because it takes me half an hour to get in myself, and it's mine. How they get it, but I just think they're just. Like I said, it's just because games were making so much money. Like I said, for a while, especially peak 360 and PS3 and going into PS4, you know, they were making more than TV and movies combined, weren't they? TV, music, movies.
Yeah.
So all the people have gone over to games and thought, right, we can make loads of money here. And they're just running it like that rather than that. And they're just going to bleed everything dry until the bubble bursts. And like I said, it'll all just blow up. No one will buy anything apart from maybe one or two games a year because everything online is like early access, game preview. Oh, it'll be great in 4 years' time. I could be dead in 4 years' time. Do you know what I mean? I haven't got time to play this, wait 4 years or 3 years, you know. And the people online are defending it, you know, like the Cyberpunk and things like that. And you just know their next game, The Witch, you know, whether it's The Witcher 4 or whatever, it's going to be the same. They're going to be like, oh, we got a lot of hate online, and yeah, PlayStation removed it, but we still sold shitloads of copies. Yeah, it's a great idea. We'll do it again. We'll release another broken game and fix it over the next 2 or 3 years. And, you know, to a certain point, you know, no publicity, you know, all publicity is good publicity, or even the bad, you know. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
Yeah, so even if people weren't aware of Cyberpunk, whether it was good, they knew it was getting shit for being broken, so they are aware of it. And, you know, they keep bringing out the news stories. I don't know. I keep talking. Does anyone else want to talk for a bit?
Well, it's just gaming's gone it is in a weird place. And, you know, I admit, you know, I'm one of those people I was looking for. Like, I started buying a lot of games digital in the 360 era, and I was all for the future. But all the subscription stuff, like I love Game Pass. Don't get me wrong, it's good. It's good value for money. But it just seems like gaming is going down the fucking Netflix route now, where everything's a subscription. You got fucking Game Pass, PS Plus Premium, Ubisoft Plus. You got EA Origin Plus, and
Nintendo, whatever. Even though they were the last bastions of fucking decency and hope, but no, they seem sold out.
And I know it sounds like I'm being a moany mini, and I'm sorry, but everyone calls me an Xbox fanboy. Thank you very much. But, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I do love Game Pass, but I do think that it's brought the quality of the games down. I really do. Mm. Because you look at the quality of Xbox games, going back to 360 and stuff, the Halos, the Gears of Wars, the Forzas were really good. And now you look at the games that have come out on Game Pass, the new Forza, I'm sorry, but it's still not in the best state now. Halo, average. Gears, wank. And, what else is, fucking, what's that Redfall? Was it Redfall? Whatever the fuck it was.
Redfall, yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking shit. It's just...
Redfall.
Dreadful Redfall. And people don't seem to complain about it because they think they're getting it for free. Well, you're not getting it for free because you're paying a monthly subscription.
They keep saying, oh, look at all these games are free on Game Pass. It's like saying, look at all these movies are free on Netflix. No one says that, but they still keep saying that and obviously the games company push it. And not only that, Webby, it's like I said, I tried to watch a movie, I suppose we're all the same. If you watch a movie on Netflix or Amazon or something like that, I'll give it a go. If we get half an hour, 40 minutes into it and it's fucking shit, we'll turn it off, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
But whereas if we go to the cinema and we watch it and it's a bit shit, we'll still stay to the end because we've paid for it.
Or if you bought the Blu-ray or something like that. Or you bought the Blu-ray,
or even like I said, you've bought a game. And I think that's why, my Game Pass ran out about a month ago and I just don't want to renew it.
Yeah.
Because I don't like, there's nothing on there. I've either played it or don't want to play it. And they've started bringing back games that they had 2 or 3 years ago to it. So I thought, you're recycling stuff again now. But like I said, with Starfield, I'm thinking, if I'd have bought that game for 70 quid and I'd have invested that much money into it like I did before, would I have enjoyed it or gave it more time because I've spent the money on it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've got a great example of that personally.
I don't take them serious. I don't take them as seriously as I buy if I paid full price or physical media.
And I do get that, right? Because as I say, look, I've got a good example of that. I remember back on the 360, I bought Test Drive Unlimited, the first one. Played it for like an hour or so and thought, this game is fucking shit. This is the worst game ever. But because I bought it, I picked it up again a week later because obviously I'd spent the money on it. I'm going to give it a proper go. And it ended up being one of my favourite fucking games. Whereas, like on Game Pass, if I don't like a game, I'm like, well, I'll just fucking delete it off my hard drive and never think of it again,
Yeah, some games take a few hours to click, don't they? Like Bloodborne.
I'll try the game with a crap tutorial and then the game's actually good.
Yeah. I'm not dissing Game Pass because I do think it's good value for money. But I just,
but like I said,
it's that mentality, isn't it?
Game, you'd have never, you'd have uninstalled that. You'd have never gone back to it, would you?
No, yeah, true. Yeah, 100%.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what I'm
good. It's good for, like I said, Webby, when that's out. When Marcus is getting a bit older and he's like, Dad, can I have like 5 £80 games a month? You'd be like, no, you fucking can't. Get on with Game Pass.
Yeah, that's it.
And that's what it's there, which is right. That's what it's there for.
Yeah.
But for What about you, Graham? Because you're old and miserable like us.
I do like Game Pass, and I do see the argument, but it's true. I think there are a lot of games that if I'd have had the option to just go, do you know what? I'm gonna just give up, I'm just going to throw this game away and just not bother, then there are a handful of games that I probably wouldn't have got as far into and as enjoyed as much as I did. And I think it is difficult. And I think it's the best tool that Microsoft have got against Sony at the moment. And I think they're kind of playing the long game. And I think they're going to digital and streaming. I think that's their long-term goal. I really do.
Well, didn't that come out again? News that or some sort of news and leak that they're going to put Game Pass on PS5. I think that came
they've wanted to for a while.
Well, it's not Game Pass. Game Pass isn't going to PS5, but they're looking at publishing their games on PlayStation and Switch. So, like games that would be that you would think would be exclusive on Xbox, they're going to just push onto PlayStation anyway, because they're going to become more of a publisher than a console.
But when everything's digital, that's how it'll go, won't it?
Yeah.
But I think what they realise is, is it the figures were that PS5 is outselling Xbox 3-1. So I think what they're feeling is that there's lost revenue. If they had those titles somewhere else, there is a lot of potential for more money through the door, basically. Yeah. That's what it boils down to, isn't it, really?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, they're even though, that's Xbox and they make machines, they're still owned by Microsoft, which is a software company.
Yeah.
That's why it's Microsoft.
Yeah. But... So, it'd be interesting to see where it all goes. But I do, Microsoft bought a lot of studios a few years ago, and we still haven't seen the games yet. So they've got to be coming in the next couple of years. And I'm hoping they're actually decent.
We'll say, Webby, that can push us on to the little Xbox thingy they did this week, if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, so Microsoft did this. They do it every year. It's called Dev Direct. And they showed off a few upcoming games. I was a little bit... I wasn't super enamoured with the show itself, but a couple of the games piqued my interest a little bit. One of those was Avowed. It looks decent. I'm not going to say, it blew me away or anything. It kind of looked to me a bit like a Skyrim type game,
Sort of, yeah.
What did you guys think? Because I know you guys watched it as well.
I only saw 2 of the games.
Yeah, I only saw a couple. I wanted Avowed because, like I said, it kind of looks like Skyrim, and obviously is it Obsidian? Because they did Fallout New Vegas, but they also did, what was the other one? Was it Outer Worlds, which I wasn't a lover of?
Yeah, Outer Worlds was kind of a letdown, I think.
Yeah, they went a bit too far away from... I don't know, I only played it a little bit, and I just thought, that's not really... Wasn't scratching the itch what I wanted. I wanted to scratch my back, and that was scratching my ass.
Fair enough.
If that makes sense, weird analogy, but kind of works. But yeah, that looks... I mean, they only showed basically how the gameplay works rather than full-on story. But we'll have to see. I mean, there's a lot of talking. And then, what was the...
Can I just have a little moan? Can I just have a little moan before we talk about the other games? I know I'm an old man. I'm 40 next month, so I'm proper old man moaning at the minute. So yeah, I know. But these events they do, right? I could really do with them not doing all the fucking bullshit with talking to the developers, all their crap.
Yeah.
I was just like, I don't give a fuck. Just show me the game, for fuck's sake. What's going on about?
It's the corporate bullshit. That's what it is.
And I know it's me like getting older and moany, but I'm just like looking at these developers. I'm like, fucking hell, look at the state of that thing. They're making this game. No wonder it's going to be fucking shit.
What the fuck is that creature, isn't it?
I'll tell you, I think this is because, when they had the games thingy awards, a lot of the developers and social media was moaning that they didn't get enough time in between all the trailers. So I wonder if, because it did seem a lot more letting them talk than actually showing the games. And I think it's like, oh, I want to be on I want to be on the internet. Put it on. And I also got with Xbox. I turned my Xbox on the day after.
Yeah.
And before I even got to the home screen, there was an advert to watch it. I was like, no, that was weird. But I think that was why they did that more, that they put the rainbow head people out front and centre.
Yeah, but the thing is, right, you look at Sony, and we know how fucking woke Sony are, but when they do their PlayStation show, whatever the fuck it's called, they literally just show the games. It's just like, here's a trailer, here's a trailer, here's a trailer. None of this fucking nonsense talking to people.
Yeah,
that's how you should fucking do it.
Trailer. Talk during the gameplay. Oh, we're going over to do this, and this is how you do this. Fair enough, because you're explaining how the game worked. But it's like 20 minutes, or what was it? I think it was something like 9.5 minutes of that AVOD, and I think they showed about 60 seconds of gameplay, and the other 8 minutes was of the people talking about it.
Yeah, I was just like, fuck's sake, just show me the games. Anyway, that's moan over. Yeah,
Indiana Jones.
Yes, it looked quite decent actually. It's set between two of the movies, Raiders and I forget the name of the other one. But I think they've done the characters really well. Like Indy looks like Indy.
He looks like Harrison Ford, even his scar.
Yeah, they've done a really good job there. And all the Nazis and that look pretty cool. I'm just hoping they don't, because there's been a thing with games and movies where they censor these type of games with Nazis in, where they don't have like the swastikas in and stuff. And I think that sort of stuff should be in there because it's historically accurate. Yeah. Now, didn't see any of that in the trailer, so it'll be interesting to see if it's in there.
Yeah. And if it's not, it depends how you look at it. It could be offensive to the people that did suffer to that if you don't acknowledge it. It's kind of like you're giving them a free pass.
Yeah. So I mean, from the trailer and the gameplay, I think it looks decent. I do think that. So I'm not going to take that away from it. However, and this is me judging.
The big like red flag.
Yeah, so there is a red flag, and and I don't like to judge a book by its cover. I know everyone's an individual at the end of the day. However, judging by the state of the developers and what they were wearing and shit like that, I'm not going to say any more. I am deeply concerned about what's going to be in this game content-wise.
I did see the classic term of modern audience.
Yes, and that was a big. What the hell? Yes.
Yeah, the Pussy Brigade, basically.
Yes,
we're making this for the Pussy Brigade.
Yes. So, I just miss games being games and not have any bollocks put into it like that. And I'm just worried. This is because the problem, like the thing is, like Indiana Jones is one of those classic franchises, right? And I just hope they don't fuck it up in any way. That's all.
Well, technically, I suppose he's like the epitome of the sort of things I used to hate.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just a white man that goes to other people's countries and steals all their treasures.
I did see a lot of online people getting mad because it's not coming to PlayStation. I was like, well, it's an Xbox exclusive. You're getting Final Fantasy VII. Do you know, as they own
Nintendo game not coming to other consoles. Shocker.
Yeah. Plus, I did see a really great joke, which was kind of sexist but hilarious, where they said, "Oh, why is a man an archaeologist? A woman would be a better archaeologist because they're great at digging up the past."
Oh,
which I thought
that's actually quite funny.
Yeah. Obviously, I've got that would upset people, but I just thought that was great.
Yeah, that's a good joke. I'm going to steal that one.
Oh my god!
I'm going to tell that at work tomorrow morning in my meeting. See how well it goes down.
You'll be on the rep tomorrow.
Yeah.
That was like up there with the football one where they had the woman referee and they said, "Oh, just be warned, she's going to give you a yellow card for something you did 5 years ago."
Brilliant. Okay, let's move on then. So, a few other games. I'm not interested in this, but people seem to bum this game. Hellblade 2. So everyone's excited for it because the graphics, but I never got on with the first game. I didn't like it.
I didn't.
Oh,
I
someone
found
else
the
is.
first one. I found the controls on the first one a bit fiddly and finicky.
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh. It's all about the graphics, that game, because I think the actual gameplay itself's a bit shite, but that's always been my opinion on that game.
Yeah, I played it recent, like within the last year or two, and
Yeah.
I'd say, yeah, basic. But if you remember, this game came out, it wasn't an indie game, it wasn't a triple A, and it wasn't like, it was sort of the in between. It was only like 25 quid or something like that on PS4.
Right.
So, but for what it was and for how cheap it was a good idea of saying, look, this is what we can do on a budget of and so few people. I thought, oh, that's actually pretty good for what you've done. Like when you see people who make games where there's only like 2 or 3 people, and you think, wow, what could they do if they actually had a big team and loads of money behind them?
Probably
and you look
fuck
at
it
this
up.
game, it looks the same as the fucking last one.
Well, it's just all and that's the thing, you know. Fair play to people that like it. I'm not going to take it away from anyone. However,
Well, it's not a horrible game. It's
I think it's all about the graphics. That game, there's just not, you know, and they go to you know, when they were explaining it with the fucking hour-long devs talking about, oh, my mental health, oh, for fuck's sake, you know, it's one of them games that they're like, oh yeah, it's all about the mental health of the main character and all the voices she hears and all. I'm like, I just want to play a fucking game. I don't give a fuck about all this nonsense.
There's a lot of serial killers out there that used to hear voices as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that, and like I said, I played that obviously with headphones on, so it was stream. It was clever, but it weren't that important or integral to the game. It's just you were doing stuff, and there was someone whispering every like once every 5 or 6 days, whisper something. Half of the time, it didn't make sense for what you were doing at the time.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. It's not like it was helping you in any way. It's just,
no.
I don't know. It's like it was of the time where everyone was looking for things that weren't Call of Duty, Gears of War, Grand Theft, you know, all the big games. They were looking to these smaller games and wanting, you know, the hipsters saying they were better than the bigger games.
Yeah.
Just because they thought they were, because they wanted to make they were better.
There was a lot of good AA games back in the day, like in the 360, PS3, PS4, and stuff. Like there's some good ones that were actually about. The problem is some of those smaller companies, they get swallowed up by big corporations, and they just either go stale or they lose that creative spark that they once had.
Yeah.
Because the big companies like, no, you can't do that. No, you got to change that. No, we want you to do this. I mean, speaking of that briefly, I did see this week that obviously Rockstar are putting out that awful game next month, the Suicide Squad thing that no one really wants, which is just literally just seems to be like a Warner Brothers live service, corporate boardroom, make us money, jerk off the shareholders kind of game. To the point where the actual 2 of the founding members of Rockstar have actually fucked off and left to make their own company.
Oh wow!
Rocksteady.
And they took a load of developers with them as well. Like
you could tell the last few years they've had internal. You can see in the quality of the games. It's just the direction of what they wanted to do compared to what the other people wanted to do. You could just see the game looked very directionless.
Yeah.
I mean, for a start, you're using characters that are more known to use their melee weapons and stuff, and then they're like, "Oh, how do you attack it? Oh, you float around like Crackdown shooting people." Well, that character's got a boomerang. Shouldn't he be using? No. He's using guns. He's using guns.
No, it's not Rockstar. Did you say Rockstar?
Rocksteady.
Oh, I was thinking.
He said Rockstar.
Oh, it's Rocksteady. Oh, okay. I was just getting a bit confused in my mind. Okay, I just wanted to.
Strangely enough, both British companies as well. I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
But yeah, sorry. I just thought that was another little bit of interesting piece of news of
Yeah.
The only other
going
couple of
their own way.
yeah, that's cool, mate. The only other couple of games I thought looked quite interesting from that event was Ara History Untold. Did you see that or not?
No.
No. Okay, no one's interested then. It looks. It's kind of like a civilization game, but it looks
No.
very beautiful. So if you like, kind of, you like Civ building, like the trailer, it showed like building stadiums and cities and towns, and you go through the ages and shit like that. So it looks quite interesting. And the only other game that I thought looked quite interesting was Visions of Mana, which is kind of a sequel to Secrets of Mana, The Secret of Mana, or just in that series of games. Yeah. So they made a big deal of that coming to Xbox on day one. So it looks quite interesting. And that was about it, really. I think that's all they really showed at that event. Again, it was like mostly just waffle that no one gave a shit about.
Let's be real. None of the gaming events in the past 3 years have actually been that good. I mean, there's been state of plays where you're like, yeah, I was actually interested in about 50 or 60% of what was shown. That was a good show.
Yeah.
But generally, they're all a bit crap. Like that, none of them seem to understand that we don't want someone coming out and waffling corporate bullshit to us. We know why you're saying it. We know what it is, but you're not actually. You're trying to sell stuff to the gamers, and the gamers don't care about all this shit.
Yeah. Well,
Whereas
there's a void, Darren.
Yeah.
There is a void now because E3 doesn't exist, and all that shit used to be at E3. So it's like literally online. They do their own shows.
No, I'm saying the E3 stuff used to actually be a lot better than what we get now. Like with these fucking other things where it's like, oh, let's go around the studio where fucking we've wheeled out all the different coloured mops that we've got fucking around the back, and they're going to talk about all the fucking games they've been making.
Yeah.
While they wear fucking like political statements on their t-shirts in front of the cameras and stuff, and it's like, show us the fucking game. Piss off. Like, I don't care. Like, I get that people make the games. I get that people make movies and make music and all of this kind of stuff. That's great. But if I'm going to thank all the developers and the people that are there, there's hundreds of you.
Yeah.
Like, there's a shitload, and we generally only want to see the games. In fact, we don't even really want someone to come out on stage and chat shit. We want someone to come out and go, welcome to the show. You're about to witness 60 minutes of uninterrupted game footage. I'll be back at the end to give you a little bit of a smile and a wink to send you on your way.
Yeah,
that's what you want.
Yeah. That's literally
Instead, it's like you'll get 30 seconds of a game and then they'll drag another couple of people out on stage and they'll be and every now and again, you'll get one person on stage who looks excited and happy to be there with a passion for talking about the game he's made and what they want to do with it. The rest of the time, they're just reading off a freaking cue card. And you feel that boredom that they feel on stage being there, and you're like, well, the game you showed me before you came out didn't exactly stir my loins, so this isn't going very well, is it?
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just bizarre. Anything that gets really popular and starts making money just becomes swallowed up and corporate and shitty. And unfortunately, that seems to have been happening with gaming within the last X amount of times. I mean, hell, like people go on now about how some games are so successful. Can you imagine if some of those huge games from back in the day when we were younger came out now?
Oh my god!
Like it'd blow people's minds.
Yeah.
Like the kind of games and stuff we used to have.
I know.
Whereas now it's like, oh, we've got such a huge audience. We've made all of these games that hardly appeal to anyone.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone will sit there and even when I watch streamers react to a lot of the game shows, they're like, "That looks good." It's not for me. I don't know who it's for, but it's not for me. It does look all right. I'm not going to say it doesn't look good in how it's presented and stuff. It's just not something I'm interested in. But at least I suppose we should doff our caps to people willing to sort of take a slight chance or a gamble on doing something slightly different rather than just regurgitating like a known formula and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, I think the gaming industry as a whole will be way better when the whole live service, always online thing just pisses off. I mean, I think a lot more people would be more adverse to paying like 70 or 80 quid for a game if they knew they were getting a full-priced game with all the content the game has to offer straight out the gate.
Yeah.
Rather than like getting a super edition with a pass that gives you the content as it's released every quarter throughout the rest of the year or whatnot, because they want to milk more money out of people. Rather than, here's an idea, put the game out and start working on the next one. Job done. But, hi.
Hey ho, mate. Right, let's I've got a few more bits I want to talk about before we finish. So, well, I don't know if people are going to agree with me this or not, with me on this or not, but The Last of Us Part 2 had a remaster that just come out.
It did. Oh, was it actually out? I knew it was coming out at some point.
Yeah.
But,
I don't know why. It's only been out a few years and they've remastered it. Now, I watched the Digital Foundry video on this, and they pretty much said there is no graphical difference unless you're really looking for it. Like, if you're really looking for it, you'll see a few things here or there.
If you zoom in on this foliage 200 times magnification, you'll see that there's an extra tessellated pixel in the distance that's not
Pretty
visible
much
on the original.
Yeah, so again, if you already own it, it's a £10 upgrade, and people are like justifying it. Oh, it looks way better, and they've added some.
It has a new game mode and stuff to it, doesn't it, or something?
Yeah, but it's like, how can you call it a remaster when it looks exactly the fucking same? Like, I was watching the comparison, like side by side, and I was like, there's no difference. Like, seriously, what is the fucking point? You know? That's just me, again, being a grumpy old man. I might as well just call it the Grumpy Man podcast, because...
Yeah. Also, Robbie, did you hear, like, 'cause you said that was the £10 free upgrade, but there were some people that got charged full price. So I don't know, because if they had Last of Us Part 2 digitally in their library, then you could still accidentally buy the not upgrade, if you know what I mean.
Why am I not surprised by this?
The big question is if you had The Last of Us Part 2, why would you even think about buying it again?
I just don't know why you'd want to play through that game again. I really don't. You played it through it once.
Misery, the game.
Yeah, that's it. That is exactly it. So why? I don't get it. Well, hey, that's just me. So I just wanted to just mention that. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is out, I think, next week. Looks great. Looks great. However, there's something that I'm not happy about with this game.
Oh, is this the voice acting thing?
No.
All right.
New Game Plus is locked behind the Ultimate Edition of the game, which is £15 more than the normal edition.
That's cheeky.
Yeah, so you can't do New Game Plus unless you buy like the kind of deluxe edition or whatever it's called. Yeah, which
bizarre. I didn't know there was a New Game Plus in the previous one, to be honest.
No, so I mean, I'm not really one who plays New Game Plus, especially on games as long as that. However, I do think it's cheeky to be locking it behind a paywall. I think that's a bit out of order, to be honest.
Yeah, that's something that should be in the standard game. Like, to have an Ultimate Edition that costs more, they should give you more than what's standard and something like that. There's no reason why that shouldn't be in the normal game.
Yeah.
Even having that as a pre-order bonus, people would be like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that for people that are thinking of picking it up. I'm going to be waiting on it, to be honest. So
I'll be getting it.
yeah, I mean, I really want it.
I won't be playing it straight off though, because I've got like the man who changed erased his name. Like, I want to play
you've got to finish that first. But you know, we've got Persona 3 remaster or remake or whatever on Game Pass in a couple of weeks. So I'm just going to play that
as well.
Yeah, Tekken 8, and you got that Grand Blue game as well.
Yes.
So, and I'm not buying that at launch either. So I'm being sensible this year, which is very unlike me.
Enough.
But yeah, got to pay to fix my car. Yeah, so I just wanted to mention that. And my last bit of news is take this with a pinch of salt. These are rumours that are online at the minute. But there's rumours of certain Sony games coming to PC this year. And those games are The Last of Us Part 2, God of War Ragnarok, Demon's Souls.
I wonder why they remastered it recently.
So Demon's Souls, Ghost of Tsushima, and Gran Turismo 7.
Ghost of Tsushima, I could see. That's obviously had its time period, hasn't it? It's usually like 2 years. Obviously, Horizon, whatever the fuck that last one was, Forbidden West, was it?
No, God of War Ragnarok and Last of Us.
Oh, right. I'd imagine Horizon Forbidden West would be there, Ghost of Tsushima. And
the first God of War's on PC as well, so I imagine the second one will come on.
Yeah, I'm just not too sure if it's the 2 year timeline yet. Usually it's 2 years after it comes out they port it.
Yeah.
But then again, again they don't really sell fuck all on PC.
No, I know.
To be perfectly honest, because people have already bought them. Because guess what? People who generally have a PC have a PlayStation as well, so they can play those other games.
Yeah. So
they've already played them.
Yeah. I'm not. I mean, I don't think Gran Turismo would come to PC. It's always been a console racer. I just can't imagine it being on PC because it's such the sim racing genre is so saturated on PC as it is. I just can't imagine them wanting to put it on PC. Because I was under the impression that Sony saw Gran Turismo as a system seller. I really did. So that one shocked me when I saw that. But again, it's only rumours, so it might be a bunch of bullshit. That's all my news anyway.
Interesting.
We've been chatting for over 2 hours. Fucking hell, that's gone fine by, hasn't it? And I'm now a level 45 miner. So there we go.
Awesome.
Right. Anything else you guys want to mention before we end?
I think I'm done.
I think that's pretty much most of it.
Yeah, I'm all moaned out.
Yeah, me too. A weekly moan session. Yeah.
Next week, Super Happy Show.
No.
No, that's not.
Well, we'll have to change the name of the podcast to the Moany Gamers or something. I don't know. Old Men Game or something like that. I don't know.
Old Men Decay.
Yeah.
Yeah, like back in my day pod.
Yeah.
Probably taken.
Probably. Right, on that note then, guys, I think we're going to end it here. It's been emotional. Thank you very much. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, PSLG, Steam ID, Webby360 to the G.
Nick Votes on Twitter and Twitch.
It's Graham or GHamOx14.
And Sensei Switch.
So thank you very much. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.